The month of April invites us to embrace transformation. Hey y'all, it's Jasmeen, the owner of House of Chiron, Astrology, and Reiki, and I make the language of astrology digestible for all of y'all. So welcome to my channel. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you will not miss anything that I happen to upload on this space. If you are returning, then welcome back, welcome home, because as you know, we do this every month. We do the Galactic Gossip where I chit chat about all the astro tea that there is to discuss, okay? So if you are new to this channel and you're new to me, I'm just going to give you a little overview on how we do things, give you some house rules kind of thing. So every month I do Galactic Gossip. That is where we dive deep into the astrology for the entire month ahead. And then also on my channel, I do new moon videos as well as a separate full moon videos. And in those videos, I actually give readings for all 12 signs. Now, of course, throughout the month, you will see me uploading little shorts and little snippets of things. I am also an astrologer, a Reiki practitioner. So if you are looking to have your chart read, my readings are open. I do have them limited by the month because I'm in grad school, so I can't do it all. I mean, I could, but it'd just be too much. It's just extra. I am much so trying to practice the pause and rest nowadays, okay? But I have them on my website and they are limited. So first come, first serve, and they do replenish and restock every month. At the end of the month, you will probably see it, if not at the early, like beginning parts of the month. They are restocked for both my Reiki and my astrology readings. So if you're interested in any of that, that information can be found on my website. Also, I have House of Chiron merch. We have our Astro and Afros t-shirt line. We also have the Cosmically Locked line. So you can find those things there. We have shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, all the things, whatever you feel safe and comfortable in wearing. Trust me, you'll find something good on my website. So not only can you follow me here on YouTube, but you can also follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have Google. I have lots. Okay. So everywhere that you want to find me is going to be at House of Chiron TX because I rep Texas. All right. So there you go. All right. Now this month, let's just dive right on in. Why are we here? What is going on? We're here for April, and y'all know we got a lot coming up in April. So April 2024, in the transformative embrace, like I said previously, like we're invited to journey inward because Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde. So probably by the time that you're actually seeing this video, Mercury is already going to be retrograde. Because it stations retrograde at the very beginning of the month on the 1st, and it will remain retrograde for the majority of April. Now, while it is retrograding, it's also going to be experiencing, Mercury is going to be having this retrograde energy, but we're also going to be experiencing this eclipse that's happening in the sign of Aries. So, and this is a big one, right? So it's one that's coming over the northern hemisphere. We can like see all of these things and feel it and experience it. And there's already like this doomsday vibe that's going on with it. So yeah, if you're here looking for me to tell you that the world is going to end, this is not the channel. I don't do that. I kind of speak about the astrology from a very grounded space. Nothing is good or bad. Everything just is. And it all depends on where you are in your life, right? So that's that. Anywho, um, yeah, I guess I should have gone over like a little bit about me, but we'll do that later. Anywho, so that's kind of like the overview of like the major energy that's happening for the month of April, which is this new moon total solar eclipse. That is a mouthful. That's happening on April 8th, as well as Mercury stationing retrograde and remaining retrograde for the majority of April. So with that being said, let's just dive right on in to all of it. So Mercury stationing retrograde at 27 degrees Aries. This happens April 1st until April 25th. So during this period, Mercury is really appearing to move backward in the sky. Like I tell you all the time, that's from our perspective here on Earth. And it's not really the case. It's more so an illusion. It more so slows down in its orbit. So It's not actually moving back, it's just called retrograde. We can get into the science of that in a separate video. Maybe I should do a Mercury. Maybe I will. We'll see. Anywho, so it stations retrograde at 27 degrees Aries. So we're going to have a lot of Aries energy during Aries season. And so this retrograde is really inviting us to revisit and reassess our plans, our communication, and our thought process on how we see ourselves, how we are confident, how we initiate the things that we want to do, right? Aries fiery energy is really intensifying Mercury's influence. So typically, Mercury going through the sign of Aries is one of the fastest transits. It's like already a quick transit from sign to sign. It lasts, Mercury goes through each sign like in about 21 days or about 3 weeks. But sometimes when Mercury is in the sign of Aries, it can be as little as like 14 days as it transits through the sign. The only thing that's slowing it down this time is that it's going to be stationed in retrograde. So Mercury has been in Aries since the latter part of March, and so that is what's extending its time in Aries. And so we're going to have this extra time to kind of like go over what has already been like initiated and planned and put into action, right? Because Mercury is almost at the very end of Aries, right? So it's at 27 degrees Aries. So it's going to be going all the way back over the things that we've already set in place and the things that we've already kind of like trying to create or trying to do. And it's telling us, wait, reassess that. You might skip some steps because Aries is quick, right? So Aries is all about getting things done rapidly, but it's also that fiery energy that speeds it up. And so sometimes we can skim over things and we can just kind of like rush through things without paying attention to the details. And thank God for Mercury retrograde, because it's a key indicator that we need to slow down and reassess things, right? Look at things from a different point of view, or just kind of reevaluate what we think we're trying to do here, or what we are actually just thinking in general, right? Our perceptions and things like that. So like I said, it's going to be really urging us to confront any lingering issues with courage, assertiveness, or our self-image, because it's in the sign of Aries. And this energy is like rebranding who you are and how you show up, how you choose you above all else, right? So those are going to be really strong themes during this retrograde if you are already not experiencing it, because I know a lot of, including myself and the people in my life are already experiencing this energy of like, how I want to show up. Who am I? Is this really in alignment with what I believe? That kind of thing. So Mercury is also going to be making a conjunction with Chiron on the 15th. And so Chiron has been in the sign of Aries for quite some time, and it's illuminating those deep-seated wounds that we have, that's encouraging healing in our conversations, as well as within the introspection that's going to happen during this retrograde phase. So it's an opportune time for us to address insecurities, past hurts, fostering personal growth and self-awareness, right? Know my motto, self-awareness is key. Chiron. Okay, so the conjunction also is going to happen not only with Mercury and Chiron, but also Mercury and Venus. So that's happening on the 19th, and that adds a layer of harmony to that retrograde period that's like facilitating introspection into our relationships and our values, as well as our financial planning. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's encouraging us to reevaluate our connections and find harmony within ourselves as well as with others. Your finances, your values, the things that you find pleasure in, like, do I really value this thing? Is that in alignment with who I am? Okay, so Mercury stations retrograde, like I said, 27 degrees. And so we're really going to be ushered into a period of reflection, reassessment, and potential recalibration that's regarding our modes of communication, our thought process, how we assert our individuality, and how we initiate action, what drives us. Aries is very primal, so it's kind of like that innate primal instinctual nature, right? Aries is ruled by Mars, right? And so bringing that in with the Mercury energy, that fiery, direct, pioneering kind of quality, within the retrograde energy in this sign, is the call to introspect on these areas, to become more urgent and also very much so pronounced. Like, just be more assertive, be more in alignment with who it is that you are. Okay. So I already kind of like went over the themes of this, so you can kind of like Think about impulsivity, assertiveness, leadership. Those are all things that are going to be coming under the microscope during this time. Aries influence really is going to encourage us to consider how we start projects, how we assert our opinions, and how we fight for our beliefs, and also how we see ourselves, right? So Mercury retracing its steps is how I like to see it. Like it's going over something. So let me retrace my steps. Let me go back and look at that. So Mercury will be retracing its steps. And so we're invited to kind of like review our approaches to things. And are we too hasty in making decisions? Are we too quick to act or too quick to react? Do we consider the impact of our words and actions onto others? This is a time to really ponder our ways of expression and self-expression, and to refine our approach to more effective alignment with our true intentions. Okay, so just some quick tips on Mercury's retrograde. We can really choose to navigate this energy by practicing patience, reflecting before reacting, revise, revisit, reassess, and definitely the big one, rest. Take your time. Take your time. Just chill. Just as much as you possibly can. I know it's hard in this in the world today, in the climate that we currently live in, it's hard. But any little moment of rest that you can get, I say get it. And I'm preaching to myself, okay? Y'all can just listen to. All right. So we can go into like I will separately go into like as that time come, the impacts that it will have on the different zodiacs. So just look out for that. Okay. Now moving on, we got to get off Mercury retrograde because it takes up all the attention all the time. Anywho, so Venus is going to be moving into Aries a couple of days later. So we're going to have the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Chiron, all these things. Not forget the North Node is also in Aries. All these energies are in the sign of Aries. And so Venus will be there from April 4th until April 29th. And so it enters this fiery sign. So we're going to be like pushed into a period of bold affection and assertive pursuits when it comes to, what brings us joy and fulfillment in our relationships, as well as within our finances, where our pleasure zone is, right? Like what makes me feel good? What do I like? Venus is what refines and determines what your taste is. So when Venus is the planet of love and beauty and, values and whatnot, finds itself in this very energetic sign of Aries, is encouraging us to take the initiative in our love life, right? Creative endeavors, all those things. So this transit is really sparking a more direct, spontaneous approach in expressing your love and affection and what you enjoy and your art and beauty and whatnot. So like it's a wonderful time to start wearing bold colors and the color red and, just kind of like embracing that Aries energy and doing so in the beauty aspect of things, or eating more red foods because Venus rules our food and, things that we enjoy, our tastes, right? So anywho, our passions are possibly going to be ignited or reignited because we also have Mercury in retrograde during this time. And so kind of reevaluating and understanding the pursuit of pleasure and what that looks like. And, that might become more immediate and also unfiltered because we know Aries ain't got no filter, just putting it out there, especially Mercury and Aries. Yeah. So anywho, so some aspects is going to be made during the time of Venus being in the sign of Aries. So it's going to sextile Pluto, that's in Aquarius. So this is going to be infusing our relationships and creative pursuits with intensity and the potential for transformative experience, right? So Pluto's influence is like very forward thinking when it's in the sign of Aquarius. So it's also like transformative and it breaks certain social things down, right? The social constructs are kind of being reevaluated and rebuilt and rebirthed in a different way. Now you combine this energy with Venus and the assertive energy of Aries, and this is encouraging us to revolutionize our approach to love, creativity, money, beauty, so on and so forth. It's a time to embrace change, explore unconventional attractions, empower ourselves through arts and, through connecting with others and socializing. So we can expect like deep soul stirring kind of encounters during the time that this sextile with Pluto happens. Okay. Okay, so Venus is also going to be making that conjunction with Chiron and North Node. So this might add a bit of like supportive energy when it comes to those deep-seated wounds and things that are coming up to the surface, right? Getting more insight and gathering more, I guess you can say, kind of like assistance in what needs to be done in order to kind of heal. Also, when it comes to like that North Node energy, North Node is like that primal also energy, like what we are trying to devour, what we're trying to create is a collective shift in focus of where we're trying to go. And so with Venus coming into connection with the North Node that's in Aries, it might have a lot to do with, being very bold in not only our expression, but when we socialize, but when we are in our, finances, things could actually come to us during that time. Like we can actually attract and magnetize things to us when it comes to like the Venus rule things. It could be money, it could be relationships, it could be like some of us might even come into destined partnerships out of nowhere. All very possible. Now, also something to remember while navigating this Venus and Aries transit, make sure we are embracing boldness and love. Make sure we are on board with the creative revolution. Make sure that we are balanced and surprised, right? Like making sure, like, because think about Aries being opposite Libra, and it's all about that energy of balance and harmony. So making sure that we are on the right side of finding balance and embracing the element of surprise and allowing things to just kind of flow and be whatever they are. Now, also allowing yourself to heal through action. That's what that's going to be about when it comes to the Venus Aries energy to Chiron in the North Node. What you're going to do about healing now that you have been brought to the awareness, right, with the Mercury being retrograde in the sign of Aries, about what needs to be healed, what needs to be worked through, how much further you have to go in this healing journey, right? Because it's never ending. What are you going to do about it? Okay, healing through action, heal through embracing your unique path, right? All those different things. Now, moving on, I'm gonna keep this one brief because I'm going to create a separate video for this. So we're going to talk about this new moon total solar eclipse that happens at 19 degrees Aries on April 8th. And so just in brief, okay, April 8th, 19 degrees. Aries is like a very key focal point, right, for this month. It's Aries season. We have all these planets in the sign of Aries, and then we have this eclipse, this really profound eclipse. Now, it's also happening in the sign of Aries. So this is a profound transformational time that represents new beginnings. It's a new moon total solar eclipse. So still a new moon. It's just karmic, it's just fated. It is things that are just destined to happen, new beginnings that you are automatically set to kind of like embark on. Um, and I don't necessarily agree or like to like set my intentions during eclipses. I don't even necessarily care to do like release rituals during full moons, right? So the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse. I kind of just allow myself to just be in the energy and in alignment with the timing, right? So just kind of keep that in mind when it comes to this eclipse energy. Now, this eclipse is going to be joining Chiron, Mercury, and the North Node that's in Aries. Now, also Venus is there; it's just not close enough yet. Okay, because it had just moved into Aries 4 days prior to this eclipse energy. So this is really underscoring the themes of healing, the things of communication, the things surrounding and pertaining to our destiny and our life path, where we're supposed to be going, what are we supposed to be doing, those type of things. It's urging us to really embrace change and follow our true path with courage and authenticity. And I was just talking to some of my good girlfriends, and we were like, Neptune moving into Aries in a couple of years, and then Pluto being in Aquarius over the next 20 plus years or whatever, is going to really be a challenge for those individuals who are not in alignment or who are not being who they truly are. So just kind of keep that in mind, that this energy is happening for us right now. All of it is happening for us. Nothing is happening to us. Things are happening to where you can get in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, who you are, who you truly are, to your core, to your soul, and then be in alignment in that, step into that. And so this eclipse is going to have a lot to do with setting on a new path, right? So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. This is a new moon. We just had the astrological new year. We have all this energy in the sign of Aries, which is in the whole newness, the new vibe. So you can redo and recreate who it is that you are and who you desire to be. Just make sure that it's in alignment with your soul expression and with who you really are at your core. So this has a lot to do with who you are at your core. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll go into really deep detail in the new moon total solar eclipse video that will be coming out very soon, probably in the next week, if not less. So just keep watch for that. I go into readings for all 12 signs on that, and you can kind of get an idea of what this energy represents for you for the next 6 months to a year as it continues to kind of play itself out. All right, so that's really going to be the theme of things while the nodes are in the sign of Aries and Libra. So we have about another year of this, okay? Now, moving on, we have after that, nothing is going to be happening for like about 10 days or so. So almost 2 weeks of no major astrological events. Then we have Taurus season, right? So the sun is going to be moving into Taurus on April 19th until May the 20th. And so as it's in the sign of Taurus, it's going to be shifting the energy to a more grounded and steadfast kind of approach to things. And we're going to be like moving into a season of establishing security, cultivating beauty, and appreciating the sensual pleasures of life. It's that Taurus energy, right? Venus rules Taurus. And so Taurus invites us to slow down and to prioritize what truly matters, right? To prioritize what's stable and what's grounded, and that's comfort, the joys of life, things that are found in the material world, but also your values is not necessarily material, it's something that is internal. So, however, this year's Taurus season is anything but typical because it's marked by the significant energy that is promising to kind of shake our foundations, right? The things that Taurus values the most. Keep in mind that the sun in the sign of Taurus is going to be squaring Pluto. That's at 2 degrees Aquarius at this time. So once it starts Taurus season, it's already squaring Pluto. So if you think about what the sun is, the sun has a lot to do with our ego and our expression, our core expression. It's our soul expression, and just kind of like that vitality energy. And so with Pluto making that square, you might feel a little power struggles with who it is that you are and how you're showing up, and authority figures, and just kind of transforming, and social cues and social constraints and things like that. So just kind of keep that in mind when it comes to like being stable. And, it's really intense transformation that challenges our notions of security and permanence. Is really what this is going to be about. Now, this aspect also is going to force a confrontation within the deeper, often hidden forces that are at play in our lives, particularly related to, like I said, power dynamics, control, radical change, all of these things. So for many, this is going to be a profound time of self-discovery as Pluto demands that we shed outdated structures to make a way for new ways of being. Now, the friction that is generated between the sun and the comfort-seeking Taurus energy, and then Pluto and the revolutionary energy of Aquarius, can kind of like catalyze like the significant shift in our personal lives and also within collective energy, right? So for everyone. And it's urging us to really reconcile the desire for stability with this inevitable march towards progression. Like we're moving towards change, we're moving towards things not necessarily being the same because this old way of doing stuff just has not been working. So on the collective scene, we're going to see that, but also in our individual lives, we're going to experience it. Excuse me. So the sun is going to be square not only Pluto, that's in Aquarius, but all the fixed signs, right? So The sun is in Taurus, so it's going to be squaring all the fixed signs as Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So anything that's in those signs, or just any person who has anything in those signs, especially your personal plans, you're going to be feeling that tension a little bit. Okay. So the sun squared to the other fixed signs throughout the season is really amplifying the themes of resistance to change. So make sure, if you are a Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and even a Taurus, if you have any of those in your big three, if you have any of your personal planets in those signs, make sure you are open and embracing the opportunity for change, for these things to kind of happen in your life. Like, resistance to change right now is futile, especially with, Uranus being in the sign of Taurus, and Jupiter is currently in the sign of Taurus until May. So we're really expanding on, what our foundations are and what stability really looks like, but also embracing radical change and transformation with Uranus being in the sign of Taurus. And with the sun squaring this energy is really going to be maximizing that. Okay, so fixed signs are already known for their determination and steadfast energy, and sometimes stubbornness, because I'm a Taurus rising. I got Venus in Taurus. I got all kind of stuff in Taurus. So I get it. Okay. The sun in Taurus, right? Holding that square to those fixed signs is inviting not only just the fixed signs, but all of us to like examine where we might be holding on too tightly to something, resisting the natural flow of like evolution and transformation. So just keep that in mind. Now, also, the sun is going to be making a conjunction to Uranus and Jupiter that's in Taurus, right? So this is really happening more so in the month of May. So once May's energy come, I'll discuss that more so. But as we move towards May, the sun's conjunction to Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus is going to bring a dynamic twist to the season. And so Uranus is a planet of sudden change, innovation, rebellion, and it's going to be meeting with the expansiveness of Jupiter, magnifying the potential for unexpected developments, breakthroughs, maybe even new opportunities, right? And it has a lot to do with the Taurus energy. So it has a lot to do with relationships and finances and money and your values, as well as art, beauty, music, food, your taste, your pleasures, all those things. So that conjunction is really speaking to a significant expansion that, really more so of like what we value and how we relate to our material resources, as well as our environment and our sense of comfort within the earth, right? Because Taurus is earth also. Keep that in mind. So that's going to happen later on in Taurus season, more so in May. So I will discuss that a little bit more then, also in May. But just embrace the changes and seek harmony between the old and the new, and allow the transformative energies of Taurus season to really guide you towards like deeper understanding of what it means to truly be secure and abundantly fulfilled. Because sometimes we get it all messed up. Just saying. Anywho, now moving on. We have the full moon at 4 degrees Scorpio that happens on the 23rd. All right. So I'll talk more about this in its own video, but just in general, just kind of going over the energy. It's happening at 4 degrees. So 4 is the number of like home and family stability. It's a Cancerian number. And this is also a water sign, right? So kind of keep that at the 4 part of your mind. So it's going to have a lot to do with emotions, right? It's already a very deeply emotional sign, being a Scorpio. It's also a very psychological energy. So, and it's intense, and it's a full moon. So it's about releasing. So I'll go into like what this means individually for your sign based on your sun, moon, and rising in that video. But this is really promising us to like dive deep into the realms of emotional depths and regeneration and personal power when it comes to our emotions, allowing our emotions not to be something that's demonized, but also something that's powerful. How can we, capitalize, and how can we use our emotional power to help us, right? This full moon is going to be potent, and its potency is amplified by this T-square that's going to be happening with the sun, moon, and Pluto. Okay, so it's marking a period of transformation and reevaluation, as well as revelation, okay, when it comes to things that are happening in our emotional worlds, okay? Now, I'm not going to go too far in the weeds of things because it's going to be a whole video on it coming out in a couple of weeks, so just kind of keep watch of that, but just know that this is going to be a really deeply transformative energy when it comes to this, Scorpio full moon. All right. So now, with that being said, Mercury is going to be stationing direct on April 25th. And that happens at 15 degrees Aries. And so it will be continuing its transit through Aries until May 15th. And so Mercury station and direct is really like allowing us to put things into action from when we reviewed and reassessed them. Okay. We emerge from the shadowy depths of that retrograde introspection into more clear light, forward momentum. We're able to like put the pedal to the metal, mash the gas. That's what we say in the South. I don't know if y'all know that. But yeah, mash the gas and just kind of move forward into the things because we've had that time to reassess. We had the time to reevaluate. We had the time to redo, rethink, all of those things. So this period is especially potent because Mercury's powerful aspects, including that conjunction to the North Node that I talked about, as well as the opposition to the South Node and the conjunction to Chiron at 20 degrees. So keep all of that in mind. Now, Aries opposition to the South Node in Libra and whatnot, that's also going to kind of like give us an idea of where we're coming from and also where we need to go, right? So it's suggesting a pivotal time for personal as well as collective growth. Now, Mercury is going to, like I said, is conjunct the North Node in Aries, and this is emphasizing bold, forward-thinking ideas and decisive action. The communication is going to take on a pioneering spirit, right? Urging us to express our individuality and initiate new beginnings with ease, effortless. That's my word of the year, by the way, effortless. So kind of just being able to do things with confidence, right? Because we've taken the time to reassess what needs to be done. It's an opportune time to set intentions related to like personal ambitions and leadership and asserting your identity and all those different things. Now, Mercury is going to be opposite the North Node at the same time. So that opposition is revealing a tension between our future direction as well as our past patterns. What is it that we need to let go of so that way we can be propelled into this new beginning, this new version of us, right? What we're trying to obtain, what we're trying to become, so to speak, right? Now, also Mercury as it stations direct is going to be in that conjunction to Chiron, that's at 20 degrees Aries. And so this is the wounded healer, Aries and this energy, it just brings conversations around healing and vulnerability and overcoming our personal challenges, right? Bringing that to the forefront. And this transit offers profound insights into our wounds that's related to identity and assertiveness and initiation and our confidence, right? It's a powerful time to really, have therapeutic dialogue. So go seek a therapist and, just talk to people, or maybe even journaling that facilitates healing. I'm big on that. Things that emphasize, how we can learn from our vulnerabilities, using our stories as sources of strength and wisdom, sharing your voice. Okay. Also, this is really activating, messages from that eclipse, from the eclipse energy that we are having or just recently had at this time in Aries and Libra. So, this transit in Mercury as it moves forward is really reactivating themes from the recent eclipse in Aries and Libra, really emphasizing the ongoing narrative of self, which is Aries, versus others, which is Libra, right? During this period, expect significant developments related to the balance between independence and cooperation, self-assertion and compromise, right? That interpersonal dynamic, right? Now, we'll go into, more detail, of course, in the month of May and whatnot, as this energy is still kind of like playing itself out. Now, moving forward, we have Venus moving from Aries, going into its home sign. So Venus returns home to Taurus on April 29th until May 23rd. So for about a month, Venus is going to be, in Taurus. It graces us in its domicile, as you can say. And we are welcomed into a period where things of love and beauty and value is found in like natural and fertile expressions, right? Groundedness. And Venus and Taurus emphasizing, I have Venus and Taurus, so I'm going to be having a Venus return, but it emphasizes the joy that's found in the sensual world, right? It invites us to really indulge in the pleasures of life, from a very simplistic kind of way. Just that natural beauty kind of thing, or just the appreciation of nature in all of its beauty. And it can just really be found in just simple things. So this transit encourages us to really dig deeper in connection with our senses, the touch, the taste, the sight, the smell, the sound, all the things, and urging us to appreciate nature, right? Like I said, and just the beauty in our lives. Now, Venus is going to be square Pluto. That's in Aquarius. And so that's going to be really bringing in or introducing a dynamic of possible tension in our relationships as well as financial dealings. So kind of keep that in the forefront of your mind. Now, also, it's also going to be showing us how dynamic connections can be transformative, and the approaches that we have to love and beauty and our values. And just if we allow the square energy, squares get really like a bad rap. And how I like to see squares is that, yes, it's a challenge, right? But through those challenges, if we learn the lessons and we actually do the work, it always brings this profound amount of growth. So, how are we going to grow through these challenges? Right? Whether in our relationships, whether it's with our finances, whether it's with our values, our possessions, the material world, our sense of stability and, comfort and things like that. How are we going to grow through these challenges? That square to Pluto may unveil issues related to control or jealousy or obsessions in our relationships that we're like, oh, okay, I need to work on that. That's not helpful. That's not healthy in a interpersonal dynamic. So let me work on that about myself, and it's going to be demanding that we face our shadows to cultivate healthier and more authentic connections. So keep that in your awareness also. Now, Venus, while it's in the sign of Taurus, is going to be making beautiful connections to Jupiter and Uranus. And we're going to talk more about that conjunction with Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus that happens later on. So, this energy with Venus, forming harmonious aspects with these planets is really offering expansive and electrifying opportunities for growth in our relationships and our finances. So, that connection to Jupiter is amplifying the natural abundance from Venus, right? Bringing optimism, generosity, and a sense of adventure to our lives and our financial pursuits. Now, this is a fortuitous time for attracting prosperity and expanding our sense of what is possible in the realms of romance as well as wealth. That's dope, right? Okay, so just kind of keep that in your back pocket. Like, okay, I can really capitalize on this energy in the month of April, with all of the things that are happening. Just about releasing and finding balance with what you need to let go of and what you need to hold on to and how much, right? Allowing yourself to remain open to the expansion and the things that are coming into your life, the opportunities that are presenting itself, right? There's an aspect with Uranus that's really injecting a thrilling spark of like innovation and freedom, right? So you might even, with Venus being in conjunction with Uranus, you might even see like, hey, I want to have a little excitement in my relationship, or I want to do something a little bit more innovative, or something a little bit unexpected or adventurous when it comes to my money or where I'm investing. Investing might be a great time during this time. Okay. Like if you're investing in the stock market and all that kind of stuff, that might be something that you really find to be beneficial for you during this. Okay. Now, also, just like if you're an artist, when Venus comes into this conjunction with not what is it, Jupiter and Uranus, you might see that your art takes on like a innovative and different like expression. So really capitalize on that. It's urging us to like break free from these stagnant patterns. So you might find yourself breaking free from doing your norm and exploring something new and different. And it really takes you to the next level in your art or whatever it is that you do, whatever brings you pleasure and joy in life. So now, like I said, Venus is at home in Taurus, so it's really emphasizing the importance of building relationships as well as resources that's going to stand the test of time, and so on and so forth. So Mars is going to enter into Aries, right? So Mars enters into Aries on April 30th, so the very next day. So did I say Mars into Aries? Mars, yeah, because Mercury's there. Yeah, Mars is entering to Aries. Mars is in Pisces right now. So from April 30th until June 8th, Mars will be in the sign of Aries, so it's returning home. It's blazing its trail for the next, 3 weeks or so, or 6 weeks. I said 3 weeks, 6 weeks. So this is really like a time for us to really mash the gas, full speed ahead. You know, like I said, that pioneering spirit, that warrior energy that Mars has, you know, especially when it's in its domicile. So it's like the epitome of initiation and courage and assertiveness. It's pushing us to really be invigorated and look out for the zest of life and be bold in conquering new frontiers and new things. Mars is going to make a sextile to Pluto, as well as the moon that will be in Aquarius during this time. And so that's introducing a dynamic interplay between desire for personal conquest and the collective pulse of transformation and emotional insight, right? Emotional intelligence. So kind of keep that in mind. Also, we have a Pluto that's a Pluto conjunction with the moon that's in Aquarius during this time as well. So that's really going to be deeply transformative on an emotional level while Mars is, you know, moving into the sign of Aries and they're making that connection. So this is diving into deep collective psyche energy, unearthing hidden, you know, undercurrents and facilitating and purging outdated emotional and societal norms and things like that. Kind of like speaks to the time that we're currently in. All right. Now, moving forward, you know, the best thing that you can do with Mars energy as it journeys through Aries is just kind of like recognize it's at home. Be open to change, be open to moving quickly, and moving through things in a quick manner, right? We're going to be encouraged to face challenges head on, initiate change, and to embrace that forward thinking leadership energy that kind of helps us with growth and starting new beginnings. Okay. So that is what I have for the month of April. It's a lot, y'all. This is probably one of my longest videos. So I apologize in advance, but I had to give y'all the tea. So with that being said, really quickly, let's go ahead and do our collective dice. I realized that I didn't do it last month, but here we are. So we're going to roll our collective dice. So this energy is going to kind of like just tell us for collectively, like, what do we have that's coming for us, right? What are we going to roll, Spirit? What is it that we need to know? All right, so we rolled Venus in Libra in the 11th house. So this is really about capitalizing on material gains and our hopes and wishes through staying connected and balanced within our sense of pleasure and what our values are. We might have a lot of transformation and things might be balancing out when it comes to our finances as well as our relationships. Some of us might be getting married, engaged. Some of us might be, you know, starting new jobs, new ventures, but this is a season of newness and really using that Venus at home in Libra energy to really balance things out, to call in all of your hopes and wishes, all of your dreams, you know, maybe even socializing and connecting, you know, sharing your voice, whether it's through social media or with your friends, you know, any of those things. So I can definitely see that being something that we kind of like navigate during the month of April, because we have so much transformation and so many opportunities coming with the energy that's just presenting itself. So that being said, real quick again, like I said, announcements. If you want a reading, if you're looking for Reiki, if you're looking for shirts, hats, hoodies, all the things, go to my website. The information is in the description box below. I hope y'all have a wonderful month of April. Thank y'all for being here. I love you all. See you soon. Bye.